Oh my God, I just totally got catfished. He looks absolutely nothing like his picture.
So I found out the guy that I've been dating is married with kids. His wife just reached out to me.
Welcome to the meat market. The single scene is a slaughterhouse and we are here to devour it. We are your hosts. I'm Lyndsie.
I'm Jess.
And today, sizzling single is Steven. Welcome.
Hi there.
So you have one of the craziest cheating stories that we have ever heard, and we've heard a lot. Tell us about it.
I came home early from deployment. I spent about 6 months in Ukraine. Decided to come back a little bit early, and I came home to a 19-year-old hiding in my child's playroom underneath their stuffed animals.
That is crazy.
That's so crazy. So crazy. So your wife, partner, girlfriend?
Yeah, partner, yeah.
She didn't know?
No.
So you were surprising her?
Yeah,
thinking,
I came home, yeah.
Did you have an idea that she was cheating?
There's been a lot of infidelity in the past. We went to a couple of therapy to try and work on it.
Okay.
So this was not the first time for her?
No.
What?
Yeah, she had a problem with Snapchat and Facebook and all that good stuff.
We talk about this a lot. Like, if an adult has Snapchat, is that a red flag
Such
or
a
not
red
because
flag.
of the disappearing messages?
It is a red flag.
For you, obviously.
If you're 16, 17, but when you're a grown-ass adult, I feel like Snapchat is a huge red flag.
Yeah. And she was 28 and messaging like 17 to 19-year-olds.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, and it turns out this guy, she was talking to him for pretty much my whole deployment for around like 8 months. And
That is so disrespectful.
yeah, and so like I pulled up and I noticed a car was in my driveway and I was like, she buy a new car? I was like, that's a little strange.
Wow.
And so I went into the garage door was locked and I was like, that's super strange. And so I just ended up hopping the back wall, walking around, unlocking the back door and came in and I just hear like shh and like a bunch of moving around and I was like, what the hell? And she comes out and she's like, what are you doing home?
Wow, that was her welcome?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I just wanted to surprise you guys. Like, I missed the kids. Like, I wanted to be in. My kids were in the house. That was the crazy. Yes.
The kids were in the house?
Yeah, that was the crazy. That made me more mad than anything.
That's crazy.
And like, I'm fresh off of a deployment, so I was pretty fired up already. I hadn't had any time to decompress like I usually do. Mm-hmm. And the kid, I pulled up on him, and I concealed carry all the time, so I pulled my gun on him because I was like, there's an intruder in my house. She was like, nobody's here. I don't know who that is. And so I'm like, okay, this dude like snuck into the house somehow. Like, and so I'm questioning him. He starts crying and he literally defecated himself on my children's playroom floor. Oh. So that was fun cleaning that up the next day. But the only reason I didn't like hurt him or anything was because he was literally 110 pounds soaking wet and like 5'6", and he was just crying his eyes out. And I was like, really? Like,
wow,
you got this little twink guy coming in here trying to...
So she acted like she didn't know him?
Yeah.
But he was hiding in a pile of stuffed animals?
Yep.
Like the 101 Dalmatians when they're hiding from
much.
Cruella de Vil, like trying to look like stuffed puppies.
Exactly.
So what happened? Did he leave?
I ended up calling the police,
Okay.
and turns out, I guess Snapchat didn't delete all his messages like they did on hers. And so he showed them everything and that he was there to meet her. And it went back like months. And they had like I think it's called a snap score or something. Oh, and they were like best friends on it. And I was like, okay, like I see what's happening.
She was busted.
That's crazy because she tried to play it off as if he were an intruder.
Yep.
Wow. That is insane.
But he forgave her because aren't they still together now?
Yep. They ended up, they live in an apartment together. Yeah.
Wow.
And how old is she?
She's 28.
And he's
so
19?
a year younger than me. Yeah. And then, he's 19. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Are you still living in the house?
I am. Yeah.
Have you replaced the carpet?
Well, that's the craziest thing is she kicked me out that night. And so I was told by the police and her to leave. So I said, that's fine.
How is that fair? Like, what a welcome home from being in the military.
Right.
That's what you get. That's not fair.
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
so I got a hotel room. And then the next day I was like, hey, I ordered a U-Haul for you. Get all your stuff and leave. And she was like, I was already going to. And so like she already had like an apartment lined up because that takes a little bit of time to get that done. So she already had all that stuff lined up.
Wow.
Just planning on doing this.
It does take time because so I had a friend stay with me last summer for a couple of months while she was getting an apartment lined up for herself. And she ended up having to stay with me longer than she had planned because you have to apply for these and then you have to get approved. And then sometimes if someone else applies that's willing to pay more for the apartment, they give your apartment away or there's things. So in this town, it seems it is a process to get an apartment. So she had that planned. Wow. That's crazy.
And then before she left, the final thing that she did was she destroyed all my appliances, my countertops, ripped off the hinges of my cabinets in my kitchen. Sorry to interrupt. I'm just confused. What did you do?
She's the one that screwed you over. Why was she destroying your property?
Just to hurt me one last time, I guess.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you dodged a bullet. At least you didn't marry her.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God.
We were planning on it. We were together 10 years. This year would have been our 11-year anniversary. We're going to get married on our anniversary just to keep the same date. And I was like, thank God. Like, I was very upset. Now it's been a couple months. So now I'm finally like, okay.
You were better off without her.
And what about the kids? She's the mother of your kids?
She is, yeah.
Okay.
And she took them with them to the apartment with her new boyfriend. Mm-hmm. They did not feel safe there. And then one day she just showed up unannounced, dropped them off, and literally told my 10-year-old and me and my 3-year-old, I don't want to be a mom anymore. I can't do this. You're going to live with your dad now, and signed over like complete custody. So
that's insane.
So she wants nothing to do with it?
No.
Oh my God, that's so heartbreaking. Those poor kids.
Oh yeah.
How did they react? Were they upset?
My 10-year-old definitely is like, she's having a hard time with it.
I was going to say, do you have like a family counselor or something?
We do, yeah,
because
I'm in therapy.
That will like
we're very
mess.
Pro-therapy.
Yeah.
But you are an amazing father. Look at his nails. He had a nail day with his daughter.
So cute.
And they wanted to paint his nails.
Are they're pink?
Pink with sparkles.
Oh, I love that.
We were listening to the Pink Pony Club last night.
Oh my gosh, my nieces are 8 and 6, and that is their favorite song.
Yeah.
And in the barn at my parents' farm, I was home back in March, and we were playing around outside, and we went upstairs to the upstairs of the barn, and I played the Pink Pony Club song for them, and we're like, we're gonna turn this into the Pink Pony Club. And so now they've hung signs. They have my dad like fixing up the upstairs of the barn, turning it into the Pink Pony Club. It's hilarious.
That's
my
amazing.
daughters love that song too.
Yeah, I don't know if I could listen to it one more time. It's nonstop, morning to night. I'm like, oh my goodness, Pink Pony Club.
So funny.
So you've had some crazy first dates. Tell us about some of the crazy ones.
I think I've had a handful. Thank you, Hinge. But the first one that comes to mind is I took a girl out for coffee. She seemed great. Like it was a great time. We conversed very well. She seemed good head on her shoulders. And then she was like, "Hey, do you want to come over tomorrow and have some steaks and we can just barbecue and hang out?" And I was like, "Amazing! I love steak. It's like my favorite meal." But went over there, and as soon as she opened her door, this like 5-year-old girl runs out and jumps into my arms and goes, "Dad's home."
No.
Didn't tell me she had a kid. I'm perfectly fine with.
She didn't tell you she had a kid?
No, didn't tell me she had a kid. Said that she lived by herself. She just moved here from Alabama, and
the kid's already calling you dad.
Oh yeah. And so I was like, okay, like, and I felt bad. I wasn't just gonna leave because that'd be rude. And so I like went in there, and this kid is sitting on my lap, and meanwhile, like she comes out and she's in like lingerie, like a corset lingerie set with like pajama shorts
in front of her daughter.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
She is desperate for a baby daddy.
Yeah. Very loose shorts, and the kid's like sitting on my lap, and she's on the other side of me, like rubbing my leg, like
in front of the kid.
Yep. Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is very strange.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there, and then she's like, go play, and like telling the kid to leave. And then the kid like runs outside, and she's like drawing with chalk, and she's like, "All right, like let's go." And I was like, What do you mean?" She was like, "Oh, let's go fuck." And I'm like, "No, like your kid's awake, like she's outside. It's like summertime, it's hot. Like what if she needs something?" And I was just like, "What the hell?" And I was just like, "Hey, actually, I gotta go help my mom with something. And I left, and she like nonstop like blew my, like I had like 162 text messages from her that day saying that she's gonna have a panic attack, she's gonna kill herself if I don't come back, and all this. And I was like, hey, like I'm just really busy tonight, like. And then the next day I finally was like, hey, you didn't tell me you had a kid. I'd been totally okay if you did. But that whole situation was just like made me very uncomfortable.
Because had you told her that you had children, so she knew that you had children.
So why wasn't she just honest and upfront?
That's crazy. You are attracting the crazies, my friend.
Yeah, it was insane. And then kind of stopped like the first dates for like a couple days, and then matched with a girl again, and then I was like, okay, let's try it, and went back, and first red flag was let's go to my house instead of let's meet somewhere.
Women are just as bad as men.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, like, okay. And so like I drove like 2 hours to go to her house, which was another, I was like, why am I doing this? But I felt like she was different. We conversed for like a good like day and a half.
Had you FaceTimed? Like, had you already seen?
We actually,
so you knew she wasn't a catfish.
Yeah, we FaceTimed that night for about like 3-4 hours. So I was like, oh, I really like this girl. Like, she seems like super awesome, and was like exactly my type. And I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna do it. Let's do it. And I was free, so might as well. Drove out there and had a couple beers, hung out, and by the pool and stuff like that. And she's like, oh, let's go inside. And we start like making out and stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. And then she's like, let's go to my bedroom. And I was like, all right, like you seem great. Like she had 4 kids. She told me she had 4 kids. And I was like, that's awesome. Like we're both single parents, like sole custody. Like this is nice. And then going to the bedroom, and I always carry a knife on me. And she like pulled out my knife and was like, take off your fucking shirt. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, what the hell is happening? And like she like throws me on the bed, and she like gets on top of me, and she's like, I'm gonna carve my name into your chest.
Oh,
what?
So everybody knows that you're mine. Oh. And I was like, oh fuck. And I was like, okay, like no. And then she was like, no. And so she had these like super long nails, and she goes, okay, fine, throws my knife and just starts carving her, like drawing blood with her nails into my chest.
Oh my gosh.
And she's like, nah, everybody's gonna know, so you better not fuck me over. Ooh. And I was like, holy shit, lady. Like,
wow.
And so like I was like, okay, I gotta go, the babysitter's calling me.
Oh my god.
And this is the first date?
Yep, yeah. Yeah, but I get up.
It'd just be crazy.
Yeah. And I get up out of her bed and like put my shirt back on, and I look over, and her entire like bookshelf is full of like witchcraft books, full of like Ouija board stuff.
Oh, you need some sort of a chakra cleansing, because she put a spell on you for sure.
100%.
She has a voodoo doll
100%.
with your face on it.
And I look over, and on her right shelf she had all her parents' ashes like stacked next to each other, and she goes, oh yeah, just say bye to my parents before you leave. I was like, what the hell? And I'm looking around her house, because I don't know why I did not pay attention when I walked in. I was just like infatuated.
That's crazy.
And she has jars of like dead animals like all over her house, and like formaldehyde. Like,
what?
I was like, what the fuck, dude? And I look over in her kitchen, and there's like a big ass sign saying this is where the witchcraft is made. And I was like,
we're gonna need to sage you.
I know. I was like, I gotta go call my pastor. Like, what is gonna happen? Like, super worried. I'm like, my truck's gonna fall apart when I'm driving home. Like, what is gonna happen? But yeah, just crazy stuff. And
that's funny.
So you left. Did you hear from her again?
I did. Yes, I did multiple times.
What's your policy? Is your policy to block, or is your policy just to let them harass and just not respond?
I feel like there's a like fine line. So the first lady with the kid, I definitely blocked her, because she was just nonstop calling me, threatening to kill her. I was like, this is not. She needs help, and she needs to do it on her own, because I'm not there to do that. With the second lady, I didn't block her, and because I was like, okay, it'll stop, and then she'll text me, hey, I love you. Like when are we hanging out again? I love you so much. Like, you're my soulmate.
She said, I love you.
Yes, yeah. She was like, we have a soul tie. Something, I think she called it a red string theory or something like that.
Oh God.
And she was like, I knew you from the moment we met. Like, I saw your eyes, and like I knew that we were together in a past life.
I was just gonna say that she probably thinks you were together in a past life.
Oh my goodness!
So
I was
funny.
like, okay. And then so I finally ended up blocking her like probably a couple weeks ago now, but just because I could not handle the I love you bombs, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna fucking kill you.
That's
and then
so
yeah, it was
crazy.
just it was never just normal conversation. Yeah.
So have you had any relationships since your ex?
No.
Any good dates? At least?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Yeah, I met with one girl. She's still very weird, but she was definitely my type.
It was a great date, but
it was
she was
great.
weird.
Like we ended up hanging out for a good couple, I think like a good month. And I was like, dang, I really like this girl. And something like changed in her. I don't know. It was very just quiet. And I was like, okay, something's a little weird. And so I was like, hey, like we've been talking for a month now. I'd love like if I could be your boyfriend. And she was like, oh yeah, I'd love that. And so I was like, okay, cool. Like everything's going great. And then just stopped it, like just cold ghost me.
What?
And I was like, what the fuck? And it was Memorial Day actually, and my buddies were all in town. And of course they downloaded the Hinges and the Tinders and all that because we were all partying. And he goes, hey, isn't this the girl that you were talking to? And she fucking went back on Hinge, completely did all her profile pictures were completely different. Pictures that she sent me.
So it was a new profile from when you had met her.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's savage. Like she could have at least been honest with you and not said yes when you asked her to be.
Oh yeah. And she like booked it. I booked a trip to go meet her parents down in Boston.
Wow.
We were I ride motorcycles. She rides motorcycles. So we were going to ride down there, make a whole like, you know.
Like a road trip.
Yeah.
Her name's not Ali, is it?
No.
Okay. She rides motorcycles.
No. Yeah, but
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's nuts.
I knew she was she does like pole dancing, and then she's also like a boudoir, like
photographer,
model.
Oh, a model.
wow.
And so I was like, okay, I just gotta go for the simple.
I was just gonna say that.
Like,
so besides not crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like no one that's batshit crazy. What else are you looking for in your?
I'm a simple
next
guy.
partner?
I just want somebody who's kind, who's caring, and doesn't make me change. Or change is good, growing is good, but doesn't want to mold me into something that I'm not. I just want to be true. Okay. I want it to be true on each side. Communication is like the biggest part. I think one of my biggest red flags is I over communicate. I'm truthful to like a fault where it's like almost too much. But life is way too short to not be true and communicate.
And be upfront and to tell things right away rather than wait.
Well, you can tell like you're genuine, sincere, you're kind, you're a good person, you're a gentleman, you're salt of the earth. Like you had made that comment, I'm not just living on this earth, I'm living with this earth.
Yes, yeah.
So you need a good girl.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want. I just want somebody who's just nice.
Yeah.
Like that's all I need.
So you grew up playing baseball?
Yes, yeah. I've been playing baseball since I was 5. Signed a contract with Syracuse University to go play up there, and then got transferred to University of Minnesota. And I was like, I'm gonna go pro. Like, let's do it. I turned down going with the Rockies out of high school because I was just like, seeing it happen where you get a bunch of money and you don't come from money, and then life just fizzles out.
And then you kind of want to go experience college, right?
And the main reason I was like, I want to get away from my parents. My parents were very controlling, very overbearing. And I was like, I just want to be by myself. I want to go try life as a fresh 18-year-old with all the knowledge that you have. But yeah, and then I went to college, and then in Minnesota was when I was like thinking about going to the military because the whole ISIS thing was happening. Like they just bombed the Ariana Grande concert and all this stuff was happening. So that's why I enlisted in 2015 and just started contracting ever since. And my first deployment was literally like 3 weeks after I signed my contract.
Wow.
And I was like, dude, yes, let's get it. And just fell in love with it. And then talking to my therapist, she was like, the whole reason you did that was because you didn't have a protector growing up, so you wanted to be a protector for other people.
Interesting.
And that's how I view my whole life is like, I want everybody else around me to feel loved and good, no matter how like shitty I feel. I just want to make sure everybody's life is good. That's all that matters, just spreading kindness.
So are you retired now from the military, or are
kind
you
of, yeah.
still...
I'm a private military contractor, so I do go on contracts. I've been here for about 5-6 months now, back from Ukraine. So
then what happens with your kids if you would get called? Would you ever get called out to deployment again?
No, so contracting wise, you can say yes or no. You can sign it or not go.
Okay.
I've gotten multiple already, like they want me to come out again on this month on the 29th. But I have kids full custody now, so I'm kind of, I don't really
Figure
need to
out
go.
how to balance that,
and like I have a good family, so the house I bought 6 years ago is on the same street I grew up on, so there's 5 generations of family on the street.
Okay, that's awesome.
Nice.
So they love the kids, and they help a lot with childcare and stuff like that. But
Good.
What are your hobbies? What do you do in your free time?
I love being outdoors. I love camping. I just love exploring. I really enjoy like restaurants and like food. I'm a huge like, even if it's like not good, I'll go just because I just want to experience that. I don't know. I'm a huge like adrenaline junkie. I like skydiving. Right now, I love bull riding. That's like one of my
bull riding?
Yeah, I loved bull ride. I actually want to
Real bulls?
Yes.
You ride
Yeah.
real
Where do you
bulls?
do this?
I ride. So my buddy raises bucking stock out in Rio Verde, and so I go out there and practice ride. I actually just got signed up to go in the Prescott Rodeo.
Oh, wow.
So it's like one of the big. It's like the big rodeo.
That's crazy.
So-
We should go up for it. When
Yeah,
was it?
It's July 18th is when I ride.
Let's do.
Yeah.
We should go. I'll be here.
Yes.
Wait. Oh, we're recording on the 19th, I think.
Dang.
We will have to.
I want to see you.
But I do. I want to go. That would be fun.
I've never been
go.
to the Prescott Rodeo. I've heard it's great.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I kind of want to practice ride. I want to try to ride a bull. I've never
fun.
even ridden a mechanical bull, and here I am. I'm like, get
a
me
good
on
time.
one of those babies.
It's a good time. I started, so my whole like teenage years, I always worked on ranches. I was like doing horse stuff and fell in love with it. Like I love caring for animals because it like truly matters if you show up to work that day or not. So if you don't show up, they don't eat, you know? So I really enjoy that. And started riding Broncos, and I was like, this is awesome. And then my buddy was like, you should try bull riding. You're a big guy. Like, I bet you'd do well. And I was like, okay. And just did it one time. And I was like,
Doesn't it hurt? Aren't you sore the next day? It just seems like your body's
and your balls. Like
my
how?
hips.
What is that situation?
they're doing fine.
But
the only time I had like a bad accident was I broke my neck.
what?
But other than that, and just had like a stage 2 concussion.
He's like, no, it's fine. The worst accident
I
was
just
just
broke
a
my
broken
neck.
neck. It's no big deal.
Yeah. But I did.
And you still do it after breaking your neck?
Yes,
That's
yeah.
crazy to me.
Wow.
Yeah,
You must
I
really
did
like
end
it.
up winning that night though, so I got a new belt
So it was
buckle,
worth it.
and it was all worth it. Yeah, exactly.
He's holding
yeah.
the trophy.
Yeah. And the craziest thing is I didn't even know I broke my neck. Like I thought I just had a really bad whiplash. And then because I started drinking right after, because that's just what you do. And the next morning I woke up and I was like, this is not a hangover. Like I couldn't get out of bed because like I couldn't lift my head up. And I was like, okay, something's fucking wrong. And then I'm going to the hospital that day and they were like, yeah, you broke your C3 and C4 vertebrae in your neck and like tore all the ligaments in your neck too. So I was in like a neck brace for like a good couple weeks. And I was like, let's get back to it. You know, my mom always told me, if you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough. So that's what I kind of try to do. Because I'm very dumb. But
the big dumb animal, but
exactly.
you're tough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you looking to get married?
I am.
Have more kids? Are you done with kids? You open?
I'm definitely open. I'd love to have a boy. I have 2 girls right now. So I'd love to have a little boy, just a little cowpoke. And my youngest is she's basically a boy.
I was just gonna ask that. Are your girls tomboys?
Oh my goodness.
then?
My oldest is a straight up princess, like loves art, loves being like reading and just music and stuff like that. My youngest is like, Dad, when I'm 18, we're drinking beer. And I was like,
so cute.
yes, ma'am. I was like, maybe we should wait a couple more years. And she goes, nope, we're drinking beer on horses. And I was like, let's do it.
so cute.
Yeah, she's amazing. She loves these the Topo Chicos.
Oh yes.
She calls them her baby beers.
That's-
and it's just
That is so
my heart. I'm like, yes,
so
I love you.
cute.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Are you ready for it?
I'm ready for it. The Keep More Minute, brought to you by Tactical Tax Strategies. They help you keep more in your wallet. We help you keep more in your relationship. If I can open this, we have a listener question. Question this week is from Maria. I'm in a long-distance relationship with a guy I adore when he actually responds. He's sweet, loyal, and great in person, but texting him is like sending a message by carrier pigeon. I'll pour my heart into a cute good morning text, and he replies 11 hours later with LOL. Is he just bad at phones, or am I dating someone who time traveled here from 1347?
That's a pet peeve of mine. Like, I feel like there's always time to send a text, whether you're on the toilet or, waiting for the doctor or before you go to bed. There's always time. being too busy is not an excuse. Like, what's his excuse?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I feel like sometimes there isn't time to send a text. And so like 11 hours later is okay, but not just an LOL. No. Like if it takes you 11 hours to respond to a text, it should then be a legitimate text, like a substantial text. Because I will do that. Like I will see a text and I'll be like, oh yeah, I need to respond to this, but I'm in the middle of something else. And so I'll set my phone down and then I'll forget for a few hours. But then when I come back around and respond to the text,
I don't know.
It's actually a thoughtful response.
Yeah.
Priorities. If someone's important to you, I don't think you'd wait 11 hours. If there's a girl that you really, really, really liked and she texted you, would you ever wait 11 hours to respond?
No.
Right? Yeah.
Sometimes I can't. If I'm with patients, I can't.
If you're a doctor
respond.
and you're in surgery, or sometimes there's the exception.
I'm not doing surgery.
I know. I'm just saying sometimes there is the exception. If you're like, you know, an FBI agent, like in the middle of a raid. But for the most part, for the normal people, I don't think there's an excuse. And LOL, that's so lame.
Yeah. I think forgetting to send a text every once in a while and it taking all day to respond is fine. But if your response is LOL to a long, thoughtful text, that's a little, I wouldn't be okay with that.
I definitely see your viewpoint on the, you're busy people.
Yeah.
You're a human, you get busy.
Yeah.
But if they're a priority and you've been talking to them, I would always find the time. Like, there's always a time.
Well,
like,
and sometimes
hey babe, I'm busy, or
and I will say that too. And sometimes I will say, hey, I have a really busy day today. I'm going to respond to this when I get a minute. Yeah. And so I will do that too. But I mean, some people are they're scatterbrained and they, see a text and set your phone down and you're doing something else and then you forget.
And some people aren't texters. I think that's more of the older generation. They just don't like to text. Yeah. So they're very short. But
yeah, that's true. I don't know. I think
maybe have a conversation.
With this particular question, I think it sounds like she's not a priority to him. Is what it sounds like, because it sounds like it's happening a lot. That's the thing, is when if it happens once, it happens once, it's not a big deal. But if it's happening multiple times, all the time, then I think it's a problem.
Well, we always talk about communication. Communication is key. She needs to sit down and have a conversation with him and tell him it's important to me. Yeah. Exactly. Texting is important. I need you to respond, and give him the opportunity. And then if he doesn't change after she's had that conversation with him, then move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I think
agreed.
So now we're going to chat a couple articles. So one, let's chat infidelity and debatable takes. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Is that a myth, or do you think that's true?
In my experience, I think that's true.
I think it's true as well.
I met that girl, my ex, my baby mama, I guess you could call it. I was in a relationship, she was in a relationship, and we ended up cheating together. And then she continued the trend. Yeah. So.
But if you cheated also, then once a cheater, always a cheater.
I know. Yeah. That's a slippery slope. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think there are certain, I think typically speaking, yes, I think once a cheater, always a cheater. Yeah. I definitely do. But do you think there's the exception where maybe someone learns their lesson, where you've done it in the past, it completely effed everything up, and you learn that, it's not worth doing it all over again?
Maybe.
Would you cheat again, or have you learned? See, I feel like you seem very genuine and authentic, and when you say I would never cheat again, I believe you.
Yeah. When I did, we were in high school, so we were just kids, but I thought I found like the love of my life, so I was like, yes, like that's it. And I thought I did it for a good reason, even though cheating is never a good reason. I think it's like absolutely disgusting. But yeah.
So you cheated when you were like 18?
I think I met her when I was 15, 16.
That's so young.
Does that even count as cheating when you're 15 or 16?
Exactly. But yeah.
I think if you're a grown, mature adult, once a cheater, always a cheater. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. But if you cheated when you're 15, I think that is a little bit of an exception, because you grow up and you mature.
100%.
But my question is this: if you're constantly cheating on your spouse, because I know people that constantly cheat multiple times on their significant other, why be in the relationship? Why not just end it? You're not happy. I
feel like they're comfortable.
They're comfortable?
They're comfortable.
But is it fair to your significant other?
No.
It's not considerate. No. I feel like that means you're a bad person, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So I feel like you should just end it if you're not happy.
Yeah, agreed.
Can a relationship survive infidelity? I think this is tough. I think it ruins a relationship. You're always going to be questioning, second guessing.
I think only with therapy. I think a relationship can survive infidelity, but there has to be work.
Yeah, a lot of work and a lot of proving, I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like you definitely, I mean, it's happened where people do survive it, but at the same time, like she said, a lot of work has to be done.
Like, I don't know if I would want to stay in a relationship if they've cheated on me, because it would drive me crazy. If they're late at work, or they're stuck in traffic, or they're going out with the boys, I would always think, is he cheating again?
Yes.
It would drive me crazy. That's not a fun place to be in.
That's literally how I spent 10 years. So
really?
Constantly questioning, constantly feeling I'm not enough and stuff like that. So it
must
definitely
have been miserable for you.
Oh, it is. But at the same time, you're like, I have 2 beautiful girls with this person that I love, but it just wasn't reciprocated on her end.
Yeah, and you've created like this life in your head.
Exactly.
Like you can see where it's going, where it could be.
Exactly.
And so then you hold on to that and you sort of overlook the
100%
shitty parts.
Yeah.
Should you tell your partner if you've cheated, but it was just a one-time mistake that you regret? Should you tell your partner?
Yes.
I 100% think yes.
always
Honesty
tell
is their
your
best
partner.
policy, because if they find out from someone
It's
else,
going to be even worse.
it's
Yeah.
even worse.
Yeah.
Micro cheating, is that a real red flag or just an insecure overreaction? You know, micro cheating, like liking a pretty girl's posts, or, you know, texting a guy at work, but you've never done anything physically, but you're just texting. So not physical cheating, but...
That's a hard question, I feel like.
I know.
It is kind of a hard question. It's very situational, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like if you, like, a year into a relationship, I don't see a reason why to
continue conversations with other people. Yeah.
But I mean, if you're just like, if you know the person, oh cool, she's in Cali or whatever, it's cool, you know, sure, why not? But if you're sitting there putting hard eyes, or hey, you look so good, like, it's very situational.
It is very situational.
I do think it is kind of a red flag though, because I think it can snowball out of control really quickly. Like one message or one comment can really quickly snowball into a situation, 100%. Like a cheating situation.
Yeah. So another one, red flags that should be deal breakers, but we ignore them anyway. So have you had someone that exhibited a red flag that you just overlooked? And that...
Yes. Well, I mean, I didn't just overlook it. So I had, with my ex, and I've talked about this before, there were red flags on our first date, but a mutual friend had set us up, a mutual friend who at the time I trusted her opinion of him. And so then when I called her after the date and was telling her like, hey, this is what happened and I didn't really like it, and it was a red flag to me. And she was, you know, no, he was really nervous to meet you. He's a great guy. He's not normally like that. And so it caused me to overlook the red flag. She was like, give him another chance. Go out on one more date with him and see like if it'll be different. And so it wasn't necessarily just me overlooking blindly the red flag, but it was me trusting my friend who set us up when I presented her with the red flags, and she sort of convinced me otherwise. Yeah. So yeah, I've definitely
Have you?
looked
I've
past
definitely
red flags.
overlooked red flags before. Yes. Yeah. Especially this last girl I went on a date with, I was just like, oh yeah, like she seems cool, but she kept like texting people or not wanting to go to certain locations. And that was like a huge, I was like, what the heck? Like,
that's a red flag.
Yeah. I was like, why don't, and come to find out like her like ex-boyfriend, like frequents these places and she didn't want to see him. I'm like, how long have you guys been broken up? Oh, like a couple of years. And I'm like, that's kind of strange. Like, wouldn't you want to like have your new boyfriend be with you for, you know, like, I don't know. That was like a little red flag, I guess. Or like even just continuing like posting, like I think they're called thirst traps.
Oh, yeah.
When you're seriously talking to somebody is like a red flag for me, I think.
Yeah.
Because you're like, dude, you're beautiful, and like I don't think you need to, especially when they're not like a social media influencer.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, why do other
We
people...
just had this conversation with another male guest too, because he was like, if I have to scroll through 30 pictures of your ass to find like a wholesome picture of you with your kid and you're not making money off of posting pictures of your ass, why are you why are you doing it?
Yeah. So are these red flags or just quirks? He has no bed sheets, just a mattress.
Oh, red flag.
That is a red flag. How cheap are they to buy, you know?
Also, it's like a sanitary thing.
Yeah.
Like, gross. Who just sleeps on a mattress with no sheets?
Yeah, that is kind of gross. Calls his mom mommy at 28. Mommy? My mommy?
I don't like it. I don't like
I don't like it. I don't think it's a red flag, but
It's kind of weird.
yeah.
Doesn't believe in tipping. Red flag.
Red. Yeah.
That's
a
terrible.
red flag.
Sends 15 TikToks a day but doesn't text back. I hate it
Red
when people do
flag.
that.
Yeah, that's a red flag.
When you
for
get
sure.
all these TikToks or memes, but then they don't respond to your text. Yeah. Has an I love women who read tattoo but has never finished a book. Duh. Yeah.
Who has a tattoo that says I love
Yeah.
All right.
That's wild. Yeah.
Ex-girlfriends or ex-wife pictures still in his dating profile, or vice versa. A guy that had, someone has pictures of
Red
their
flag,
exes.
yeah.
still like that aren't cut out? Do people do that?
Yeah,
I don't know
so-
on the apps. Do people post pictures of themselves with their significant or their exes?
So I know people who their exes still have pictures of their wedding pictures on their Facebook.
Yeah.
on your social media is, well, I mean, it's still kind of, but that's different than being on your dating profile.
Okay, dating profile I think is absolutely
Yeah.
That's
deal
a
breaker,
huge
red
red
flag.
flag.
But on social media, like if you're in a relationship with Bob and you're married to Bob and he has pictures of him and his ex, their wedding pictures and stuff.
See, my ex still had pictures because he's like, that was my life. Like I was married to her. There were family vacation photos of like him and his ex-wife and their daughter in like old photo albums on Facebook from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, it that never bothered me
Yeah.
because I'm like, that was part of his life.
Yeah.
But it's weird to me, like, if I was married and I got divorced and I'm married again, out of respect for my current partner,
Yeah.
I would take all the old pictures down. You know, don't you think?
100%.
Right?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Not so much that I want to erase that memory from my life, because it was a part of my past and who I am, but for respect for my partner. I don't know. I think it's a little weird.
I think it depends on if it's important to your partner or not.
Yeah.
Because if the partner feels disrespected, having my ex have pictures of his ex-wife and daughter from when he was married, I didn't feel like that was disrespectful to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm not right, but I didn't feel disrespected by that because it's like, that's a part of your life. So I would never ask you to delete those memories. So I guess it probably depends on how it makes your partner feel,
Yeah.
right? If your
Yeah,
partner
100%,
feels
yeah.
disrespected by it, then
Yeah.
take it
but
down.
why not? You've moved on. You're with someone else. How easy is it to delete? I don't know. It's
Yeah.
pretty easy. You think this is a red flag? I don't. Just caught a fish picture in his profile?
I don't
Didn't
think
you
it's
say
a
with
red.
the picture of
No,
them
I
holding
said
the
it.
fish?
There was a viral like post going around that said that was a red flag,
see
and
the
I
big
said
deal
I don't
about it.
understand it.
Oh.
Why is it a red flag?
I don't know.
I don't think it's a red flag.
I don't think it's a red
Yeah.
flag either.
I have pictures of myself holding fish.
Only when they lie about how big they are.
Right,
That's the only
exactly.
red flag there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there was this whole thing going around recently it said if he's holding a fish in his
But
dating
why?
profile picture, it's a red flag. And that's what I was
that's
asking.
what
I
you
was
were
asking,
asking.
why is that a red
Because
flag?
it shows
I
he
don't
likes
understand.
to fish. He has hobbies,
Yeah.
outdoorsy hobbies.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Claps when the plane lands. That's kind of. But with all the plane crashes nowadays, can you blame people for being glad that you've landed safely?
I don't like that. I don't like people looking at me. Like, I don't like attention on me. And so if I'm sitting next to someone on a plane who starts clapping, the whole plane is turning to look to see where the clapping is coming from. And I am
That's
like,
funny.
get me out of here right now.
The last one is talks loudly on speakerphone in public. That's kind of annoying.
That is annoying.
That's annoying.
That's
yeah.
kind
Get
of a
some
deal breaker.
AirPods. Like,
So what is your favorite place to go on a first date?
Ooh, it depends. I just started going to this place called Postino's.
I love
he's like, I just started going to this
It's
place.
so
Did
good.
you just discover
Yeah.
Postino?
Oh yeah.
The bruschetta boards?
Yes, the bruschetta.
Have you ever
is
been on a
amazing.
Monday, Tuesday? Do you
No.
know about their deal?
No.
it's
Oh
a
my
big
gosh,
deal.
on Mondays and Tuesdays after 7 p.m., you can get a bottle of wine and a bruschetta board.
Ooh.
They've increased their prices. The last time I went, I think it's $30 now.
Oh my
it used to be
goodness.
20,
It used to be 20.
but it's either $25 or $30 now.
Yeah, I
But,
love Postino.
yes.
That's a good place.
Yeah.
Or I really like going to this like speakeasy bar called the Whining Pig or Pigtails or something.
Oh,
like
I've been to
that.
Pigtails.
I
It's
think
downtown.
it's
Yeah.
super cool. It's very dark and
Yeah.
like quiet and it's
I
nice
like that
place,
one.
yeah.
I like if it's pigtails, that's the one that's inside the little meat counter. There's a meat counter and then you go in the back door. Yeah, that one's it's cute.
Yeah, that's a good one. Other than that, I mean, just normal stuff. Yeah.
So now it's time for the celebrity cut where we marinate in the juices of the celebrities. So speaking of dating apps, did you see Jenny? You know Jenny Garth used to be married to Peter Facinelli. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But she found, when they were still together, she found him on Raya, the dating app, looking for girls the same age as their daughter. Because they have 3 daughters and I guess the eldest.
Oh.
Like, isn't that weird dating someone that's the same age as your daughter? How can you bring that girl home? So she'd be the stepmother to the daughter and they're the same age. That's just weird.
What is with celebrities and their obsession with
younger women?
Like,
it's weird. I don't know.
Understand that. No.
It's like chomo. Like
100%.
Leonardo DiCaprio, doesn't he
like,
cut his women off at like 26? They turn 26 and he trades them in for a younger model. I don't know.
They need to be psychologically analyzed, I
it's
think.
predatory.
And
for sure.
It kind of sucks for us women as we get older. Like I feel men do age like a fine wine. They get better looking as they get older. Us women, we just get dumped to the curb.
Well,
Oh my
and I think
goodness.
too, it is because as women, as we get older, we become more opinionated and our like ability to deal with bullshit becomes much less. And as when you think about when you are younger, you were, you would just, it's whatever. Like, I'll just deal with whatever. He's great. And so I think it has something to do with that too. Like the younger women are just more easily,
Yeah, true. Don't fight back as much.
Yeah.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I go for older women because of that reason right there, where they're just, they're not dealing with bullshit anymore. And I'm 29, like, I go for the mid 30s to 40s.
Ooh, you like a cougar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if they're established, they know what they want.
We're going to have so many submissions for him.
I know, I feel
Lining up the dates.
I appreciate it.
So what's your age range? What is your ideal? What's the youngest you'll go and the oldest you'll go?
Youngest I'll go is my age, 29. But yeah, I will not go any younger because I just feel like, especially like having 2 kids and experience like multiple lives within this short life that I've lived, there's no way I can date somebody that's like 21, 22, 20, any of that, just because they haven't figured anything out yet.
It's a different,
and
they're
I
a
have
different
like my
time in
shit
their
together,
life.
so I think probably like 30s to 40s.
Well, even like the early 50s now, they look hot. They're on fire. Like, look at J-Lo and Gwen Stefani. And I feel like now older women are so beautiful.
If they can afford to have the work done.
That's true. That's true.
The oldest one I've dated.
I'd love to see them without all the work.
without any work.
Yeah.
The oldest one I've dated is 57 or 58.
Wow.
And why
Whoa,
did-
that's way
that is
cougar.
old. Why did that not work out?
The age for her was an issue. Yeah, she was like, I can't. She brought me around a couple family things and was questioned and all that good stuff. She was like, it's just not. I don't want the drama within my own family. Like you're the same age as like multiple of my kids. So and so I understand, but
Well, and I was reading something recently that one of the big concerns with older women dating younger men is the fear of looking much older, like later in life, right?
Yeah.
So say when you're 40 and she's 70, you know what I mean? So then it becomes this fear, us as women, we're vain, obviously. So it's like when I look way older, then what are people gonna think?
I'll dye my hair gray. I don't mind.
Aw, so sweet. Now it's time for the most delicious segment of the show, Zoyo and Tell, sponsored by Zoyo, your neighborhood yogurt. We are going to get to know you with Zoyo.
Ooh.
Rapid fire.
Okay.
The best or worst pickup line that you've ever heard?
For me, like on my end,
Or used. Do you have a good pickup line?
my go-to is, I think you're absolutely breathtaking. I'd love to get to know you.
Oh, okay.
That's like my
genuine.
Just my go-to. I think the worst one I've ever heard was "What that mouth do."
What?
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
her line.
Yep.
How'd you respond?
Just started drinking my whiskey and didn't
No
reply.
response.
Yeah,
No
reply.
words needed.
Yeah, I was like, no, thank you.
It drinks whiskey.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Favorite body part on a partner?
But
The butt.
yeah.
What gives you the ick?
Ooh, taking care of somebody that doesn't have their shit together.
Is watching porn considered cheating?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you're intimate, is it appropriate to ask your date how many people they've been with?
No.
Not appropriate?
I don't think it's appropriate, no. Yeah.
Is it acceptable to have sex on a first date?
Yeah.
Yeah. Should you disclose mental health issues early on in a relationship?
Yes.
And then what's your favorite position and why?
I'm old school. I like just straight up missionary or cowgirl where she's on top.
Yeah.
Just super old school. I like it. I just like looking how pretty they are when they're underneath you, you know?
Do you have any other questions?
No.
Do you have any other questions?
No.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this week at the Meat Market. And thank you so much, Stephen. If you want to take Stephen on a date, go to our social media platforms at Meat Market Podcast or our website, themeatmarketpodcast.com. And thank you so much to our sponsor, Tactical Tax Strategies. If you want to keep more of your money in your wallet, you need to go to Tactical Tax Strategies. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week at the Meat Market. Oh my God, I just totally got catfished. He looks absolutely nothing like his picture.
So I found out the guy that I've been dating is married with kids. His wife just reached out to me.